Late on Saturday night, roughly 17,000 people around the world stopped watching motorsport entirely and stared at a small airplane icon moving slowly across a map. The aircraft carried the tail number NN501KL. It was, for a period of nearly 2 hours, the single most tracked flight on the planet, and Knoxville Raceway put the live tracker on its giant video board so the grandstands could follow along. Inside that jet was a driver who had climbed out of a NASCAR Cup Series car 40 minutes earlier. He was racing a clock, not a car. That driver was Kyle Larson, and to understand why an airplane became the main event, you have to go back to the start of the night. Saturday, August 15th, 2026. Two racetracks were running at almost the same hour, separated by over 100 miles. At Richmond Raceway in Virginia, the NASCAR Cup Series ran the Cookout 400, a lap race on a 0.75-mile short track. Larson drives the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. That is the contract that pays him, and that contract came first. At Knoxville Raceway in Iowa on a 0.5-mile dirt oval, the 65th Knoxville Nationals was scheduled the same night. It is a 50-lap sprint car race that pays $200,000 to win. Racers call it the granddaddy of them all. It is the biggest sprint car event in the world. Larson is 34 years old and comes from Elk Grove, California. He is the reigning and two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. He also had the best starting position at Knoxville already earned and waiting for him, and every person in the sport believed he would never get to use it. On Thursday night, Larson won his qualifying preliminary feature at Knoxville Raceway in the Silva Motorsports number 57, charging past Garrett Williamson late in the race. That victory made him the high point driver for the week and locked him onto the pole position for Saturday night's championship feature. The backup plan was already written. A crew member named Trevor Canales would climb into the sprint car, take the green flag from the pole, and drive straight into the pit lane. Racers call that start and park. The car collects a payout and runs no competitive laps. This was not a new idea at Knoxville either. Canales did exactly the same thing for Rico Abreu in 2015, when NASCAR commitments kept Abreu away from the main event. The reason for all of it was money, and the numbers stack up quickly. Larson stayed in Iowa after the previous Sunday's NASCAR event and won the Capitani Classic at Knoxville Raceway that night for $13,000. On Monday, he won the Front Row Challenge at Southern Iowa Speedway for another $21,000. His Thursday preliminary victory at Knoxville paid $12,000. The start and park run on Saturday would have added $15,000 more. Team owner Paul Silva runs the operation part-time at roughly a quarter of the schedule of full-time team runs. Not everyone accepted the reasoning. About half the crowd booed Larson on Thursday night, with fans arguing he had taken a starting spot from a driver who intended to be there on Saturday. Larson addressed the criticism directly during the week. But as long as the rule is the way it is right now, we're going to be here racing. Why wouldn't anybody, he said. If they want to change the rule, that's totally fine. Two long-serving sprint car reporters took his side. TJ Buffenbarger of TJSlideways.com pointed out that Silva makes his living owning the number 57. Jeremy Elliott of SprintCarUnlimited.com called the idea that Larson was taking someone else's spot a nothing burger and said the simple answer available to every other competitor was to beat him. Larson woke up on Saturday to a forecast showing a large amount of rain heading toward Iowa, and he was excited by it. He checked his weather application every 30 minutes through the day, and for a while the outlook kept improving. Then the sun came out over Knoxville and the numbers fell apart. When I got in the Cup car, it only showed like a 10% chance of rain at 6 p.m. or something. I was like, all right, that's a bummer. I was kind of sad for a minute and then just got focused on the Cup race. Yo, he said. He had already made peace with missing the race earlier in the week. It doesn't kill me. I haven't lost sleep over it since knowing the schedule probably about a year now, Larson said. There was history behind that acceptance. Larson has twice attempted the Indianapolis 500 and Coca-Cola 600 double on the same day, and weather ruined both attempts. On this night, the weather was about to do the exact opposite Larson qualified 30th on Friday afternoon at Richmond Raceway, and the race began the way that starting position suggested. He fell a full lap behind the leaders early. He finished 25th in the first stage. Crew chief Cliff Daniels then made a decision that shaped the rest of the night. Near the end of the second stage, he pitted the number 5 car for 4 fresh tires, gambling that Larson could run down race leader Joey Logano and put himself back on the lead lap. It worked. Larson climbed to 13th by the end of the second stage and earned the free pass back onto the lead lap. Daniels described the moment afterward. He said, "The writing was on the wall that we were going to go a lap down," and called the decision certainly the pivotal moment of the night. The result mattered well beyond that one race. Larson had finished outside the top 30 4 times in his previous 5 starts and had slid to 10th in the championship standings. His last top 10 finish had come on June 28th at Sonoma. Only 2 races remained before the postseason began: Iowa floods and the radio call. While the Cookout 400 was running in Virginia, steady rain was falling on Knoxville Raceway. Hot laps had not even started. The program was pushed back 4 hours and 6 minutes past its scheduled 6:30 in the evening Central Time start, and cars did not return to the track until 10:36 that night. Behind the scenes, a plan was being built. Cliff Daniels, Hendrick Motorsports President Jeff Andrews, and Larson's public relations representative Colby Gorniewicz worked the logistics while the NASCAR race was still in progress. A chartered airplane was placed on standby. Daniels explained the thinking afterward. "I'd much rather have a plan in place that we can say no to, or if they get the feature in, so be it, than to have nothing prepared," he said. Larson kept refusing. "He kept telling me no. He kept telling Jeff Andrews no, but we were persistent because we knew that if we get him there, he can probably do something special," Daniels said. With 114 laps remaining at Richmond Raceway and Larson running 14th, Daniels keyed the radio. "Knoxville has not ever started hot laps yet. Big delay for the race," Daniels said. "Don't know if it's tomorrow yet, but they're way behind, just so you know." Larson replied with a single surprised word: "Knoxville." "Yeah, we're working on a plan for you," Daniels said. "Okay," Larson answered. Larson had been thinking about Iowa during the long caution periods, but he had refused to ask about it over the radio. "But I never wanted to key up and ask because that's just a bad look, and I didn't want it to come across like I wasn't focused on the race at all," he said. Of the moment Daniels finally told him, he said, "Then I got a kickstart of emotion there." Once Larson knew that Iowa was possible, the number 5 car improved. He moved into the top 10 late in the run and brought the car home 6th. It was his first top 10 finish since Sonoma, and it lifted him back up the championship standings with 2 races left before the chase. Daniels praised the effort afterward. "He stayed with it all night, so very proud of our team," he said. "He's got a little pep in his step now." The team had prepared everything in advance. Daniels excused Larson from his post-race media obligations the moment the race ended, and food and hydration were already loaded onto the airplane waiting for him. Larson described his reaction when he realized the trip was actually happening. "Oh shit, this is real." The checkered flag fell at Richmond Raceway at around 10:16 in the evening Eastern Time. Larson parked on pit road, climbed out of the Chevrolet, and ran for a waiting vehicle that carried him to Richmond International Airport. The jet tail number N501KL was wheels up at 10:57 in the evening Eastern Time. That was 40 minutes after the checkered flag. The flight to Pella Municipal Airport in Iowa took 118 minutes, and the aircraft landed at 12:55 in the morning Central Time. Somewhere over the middle of the country, the flight became the story. A peak of roughly 16,000 to 17,000 people simultaneously tracking the aircraft on Flight Radar 24, making it the number 1 most tracked flight in the world for virtually the entire trip. Knoxville Raceway put the flight tracker up on its giant video board so fans in the grandstands watched an airplane icon instead of a race car. A Dirt Vision camera crew filmed Larson walking off the tarmac in Iowa, where a police escort was waiting to run him to the racetrack. Larson spent the flight itself filling out his post-race debrief form for Daniels, the same paperwork every NASCAR Cup Series driver completes after a race. When he was told about the flight tracking statistic in Victory Lane, his reaction was straightforward. It's kind of cool that's a stat. I figured somebody would be tracking Donald Trump, Taylor Swift, or something, Larson said. Larson arrived on the Knoxville Raceway grounds before the B-Main took the green flag. He missed hot laps entirely. He had not turned a single lap in that sprint car since Thursday night. The championship feature went green just before 1 in the morning, and the checkered flag fell at 1:41 in the morning Central Time. The race lasted 33 minutes. Larson led all 50 laps. He started first and stayed first. Casey Kahn cleared Sheldon Haudenschild on this lap to take over second position. Larson's largest advantage was 4.7989 seconds over Kahn on lap 24. He lapped 12 cars in the first half of the race, a group that included Rico Abreu, Tyler Courtney, and Corey Day. His quickest circuit was a 15.941 on lap 28, the only lap run in the 15-second bracket during the entire feature. The top 5 finishers were Kyle Larson, Sheldon Haudenschild, Casey Kahn, James McFadden, and Logan Schuchart. Haudenschild recorded his career best result in the event and his 7th consecutive top 10 finishes in it. Kyle just kept getting farther and farther away, he said. He added, "I'm glad Kyle got to make it back, honestly. If I want to win this race, I want to beat Kyle and the best there is." Kahn, at 46 years old, recorded his best career Knoxville Nationals result. "I got right to second there, and I was trying to do all I could to keep up with Kyle. He slowly pulled away, he said. "It's extremely surreal," Larson said, "just to talk about the day and the range of emotions." He also said, "It's just wild how I'm here tonight." He credited the organization that made the trip possible. "I wouldn't have any Knoxville Nationals championships without Hendrick Motorsports," Larson said. "A 4th Knoxville Nationals in a fashion like this is unbelievable. It feels like a little bit of a dream right now." He also answered the fans who had booed him on Thursday. "I hope all the people bitching about us running our preliminary night understand why. This was the best-case scenario," Larson said, adding that this was exactly why the team entered the Knoxville Nationals in the first place. On his car owner, Larson said, "For someone who's never been behind the wheel of a race car to be as good as he is as a crew chief is unreal. He can read the car better than I can feel it." Larson now has 4 Knoxville Nationals titles, won in 2021, 2023, 2024, and 2026. All 4 have come in the last 6 runnings of the race. That total ties him with Kenny Weld and Danny Lasowski for 4th most all-time. Ahead of him sit Steve Kinzer with 12, Donnie Schatz with 11, and Doug Wolfgang with 5. He now has 178 career Knoxville Nationals. A main laps led, moving past Doug Wolfgang and his 152 for 3rd all-time, behind only Donnie Schatz with 339 and Steve Kinzer with 301. The win was his 3rd flag-to-flag Knoxville Nationals victory, following 2023 and 2024, tying Doug Wolfgang for 2nd most in that category. Only Steve Kinzer has more with 6. It was also his 3rd Knoxville Nationals pole position, tying him with Mark Kinzer, Sammy Swindle, and Joe Saldana. Larson now has 16 career victories at Knoxville Raceway overall. The win was his 40th career triumph with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, making him the 22nd driver ever to reach that number. He is believed to be the only driver to win 4 features during a single Nationals week, taking Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Across Southern Iowa Speed Week since 2020, his record stands at 15 wins in 22 starts. One driver 400 laps of NASCAR Cup Series racing in Virginia, a 118-minute flight across the country, and 50 laps led on dirt in Iowa, all inside a single night. And the calendar is not finished with him yet. In 2027, the Knoxville Nationals falls on the same weekend as the Bristol Night Race, which means Kyle Larson will be standing in front of this exact problem again.